The Michael Berry Show.
There is a bond in Spring Branch right now, and it's a big one. And as I said earlier, I think it's perfectly acceptable to have a disagreement. I was very supportive of Chris Earnest, who's the chairman of the board, and I will give some deference to the fact that I don't think he's a tax and spend guy. He's not making any money off this. He's got a passel of kids that go to those Spring Branch schools. I think that the Spring Branch Independent School District has, by and large, done a very good job. It doesn't mean I agree with everything. Tom Ramsey, who I do like and respect, who's the county commissioner there, has come out and supported this bond and donated to the PAC that was created to promote this. That doesn't mean I necessarily agree that the bond should be passed. Now, the Harris County Republican Party did endorse against the bond, and a lot of taxpayers think that this is money that's not needed. I had put in a text to Chris Earnest earlier that if he could come on and talk about this, and we have him now. He's the chairman of the board at Spring Branch Independent School District. Chris, thanks for being with us, buddy.
Hey, Michael, how are you?
I have, you sound thrilled to be here. I have reviewed the text. It's a very thorough text you sent about your support of the bond. Let's do the nuts and bolts first of what the bond looks like. How much is it for?
$600 million.
And how much does that cost the individual taxpayer in Spring Branch Independent School District?
Well, I guess first to back up, $600 million carved up into 4 different propositions. So if all 4 passed, then it would be a $600 million bond, and it would cost about $140 a year for every $500,000 home that you own.
Okay, so $1 million home would pay $280, $2,560,000.
Yep.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, which I understand. I went back and listened to what you had to say the other day, and I know that that's not necessarily a popular thing, but at some point it's like, man, we're paying so much property tax already, and when you look around this region and you look around the state, and you've got kids that are participating in extracurriculars, and every single facility in Spring Branch is 60 years old. Like at some point it's like, man, okay, I'm paying $30,000 a year for what? For crap? And what's another $300 so that my kids and the community can participate in first class facilities? At some point you're just like, man, we're paying so much. Like what's another few $100s to have what everybody else has?
Well, I guess the argument would be, and there was an allusion to that, is that if there is a voucher and if there is increasing choice, which I think is the future, and I know y'all are against that, but I do think that forms of that are the future. And
I'm not against that. I'm not against that, Michael. I just think we need to be able to stay competitive then. Because, look around. Who are we going to be competing with? We're going to be Spring Branch, specifically. Second Baptist, Kincaid, Houston Christian, St. John's. Look at the athletic facilities of those places. Find me one of those schools that doesn't have a turf baseball field. Second Baptist is putting in a jumbotron on the church campus this summer. So we've got a scoreboard at Tully Stadium that looks like it walked right out of the Astrodome, and porta potties. So at some point, like whether your kids go to those schools or they go to our schools or wherever they go, at some point, like the community at large, the properties in Spring Branch are propped up by Spring Branch ISD. So we want to take pride in our facilities. And to me, quite frankly, it's embarrassing for Spring Branch that we've got a 60-year-old football stadium where there's concrete steps that literally collapsed and disintegrated this year, that we have to bring in 20 to 30 porta potties whenever Memorial and Stratford play in Tully Stadium because the plumbing doesn't work. We literally had sewage, and I could use another S word, but I won't on air, literally coming down the berm after Memorial's homecoming game because the sewage backed up. And it's at some point,
sludge.
Like I know it's a lightning rod to
sludge.
say we need a new football stadium, but
you can say sludge on the air, Chris.
Sludge, yeah, I know.
Hold with
but
me.
At some point we got to do something.
Quick break, Chris. Couple of quick questions. They're direct. They're not
Yes,
personal. The $600 million is said to cost, by the time interest is paid, over $1 billion. Taxpayers should know that, right?
Is that a question?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, nobody's hiding behind it. I mean,
I
yeah,
understand.
it's expensive.
And I'm looking at the materials that the Harris County Republican Party came out against, and let's take them one by one. No classrooms.
Shocker.
No classrooms.
Yeah. Can I address that? Can we address them one by one then?
Yeah, absolutely.
No classrooms. But this is coming on the heels of, like, we just have literally rebuilt every single elementary school. We've started to rebuild Memorial High School, halfway done. We've made significant additions to Stratford and Northbrook High School. We've rebuilt one middle school. We're building world-class career and technical training center over off of Guthrie that no private school will be able to offer. We've partnered with HCC. We've got an early college graduate program that we launched 2 years ago, graduating our first group of kids from Northbrook this year that will have a 2-year degree when they leave our high schools. So the idea that, there's no classroom, well, like, every bond for the last 30 years in Spring Branch has been 100% focused on classrooms. At some point, you're going to have to rebuild the football stadium. And I know that that's always going to be a political lightning rod, but at some point it does need to happen. It was built the same year the Astrodome was built. And I think the Texans are lobbying for a new stadium now. So, I mean, at some point it's got to happen.
Yeah, but earlier you said the scoreboard looks like it came out of the Astrodome. I liked the Astrodome scoreboard.
It does. Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Remember?
Back in the 70s.
So, Chris, I know you're wound up. And listen, I know.
Second bad. Nobody, no, yeah.
I know that all you get.
It doesn't even
criticism.
work.
No, I get it. But I think you can understand, for a lot of taxpayers, especially if they don't have kids in these schools, they look at their tax bill and they see it going up and up and up, and they're frustrated. And there are reasonable questions. They're tough questions, but they're reasonable questions. And you're a smart guy.
Totally.
I know you understand that. There is a lot of frustration over whatever the reason being, mistakes made in the past. Between some of these people live in the city of Houston, so they've seen the city of Houston collapse, and they have to pay for it. Yeah. They've seen Metro and what they've done. They've seen all of these things happen. New stadiums built for professional teams, and they're still paying for it. So you're coming as 10 out of 10 on the heels of that. I mean, I'm sure you can understand the frustration.
Understood.
That being said, I think Spring Branch Independent School District probably has the best public schools in the region
around
for public schools. And Memorial High School is probably the best public school. You'd have to go out quite a ways to get to maybe Woodlands or Katy to get to a public school that rivals it. There's no doubt about that. And there are kids.
And
I personally know families who've pulled their kids out of St. John's, Second Baptist, Kincaid, St. Francis, or others, and put them in Memorial for numerous reasons, and felt like they didn't see a drop in quality. That's something to be proud of.
It is.
Are you
I would
endorsing
argue that all of our home values around here are propped up?
No doubt. I had a real estate company in the late 90s.
Viable option.
People move into areas. West University was bolstered. There was a guy named John Threet, who was the principal at the time. And I developed a good relationship so that I could take kids up to the school when they bought into the district. And that school drove a big part of the home values there. Bel Air, same thing. Are you endorsing Jennifer Highland, Walker Agnew Jr., and Carolyn Bennett?
I have not. When I ran the first time, I literally felt like I ran against the board the first time. So I have not publicly endorsed any school board candidate, but I likely will be voting for those three, yes.
Fair enough. Is there anything else you want people to know about this bond package? Early voting started today, by the way.
Oh, look. These are legitimate needs. There's 4 proposals out there. If we get 2 or 3 out of the 4, I think it'll be a major improvement for our community. Our entire community, Michael, uses these facilities. When you walk into any one of our 4 high schools on a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or Sunday night, you're going to find it full of elementary age kids playing basketball from, before Thanksgiving until February, March. I mean, literally full of our kids, whether they're Second Baptist kids, Kincaid kids. I mean, anybody that lives in our community goes through SPMSA, and SPMSA uses all of our facilities. So this isn't just for Stratford High School or Springwoods High School or Memorial High. This is also an investment in the community. And the other thing is this is the front yard of our district. You know, I can't tell you how many times it irritates me that I've had a friend come and watch Memorial High School play a baseball game and be like, this is Memorial High School? Like, this is the storied, you know, like what everybody hears about, the reputation that you just alluded to, like, this is it? Like, really? I mean, it's just, we have fallen so far behind that it's become embarrassing. When you go into Tully Stadium and we can't, you know, sometimes you have to have a neutral site for a Katy High School to play. We can't host anybody there because the stadium is so deteriorated. Memorial High School is the #1 rated baseball team in the state of Texas right now in 6A, and we're not going to host any playoff games because our field is in such poor condition. I mean, it just can't be made. It's just embarrassing. It's embarrassing.
Understandable.
So it's just time to do something about it.
And Spring Branch has done a wonderful job with the schools, and I think Spring Branch in the last few years, particularly throughout the district, has seen great improvements with new folks on the board and new blood over there. I would just encourage you, Chris. I know you're frustrated. I felt this way on city council, that it seemed like all I ever heard was bitching and nobody appreciated the good work we were doing and the best of intentions. I think you have to understand that. I would urge you to keep a smile on your face and be a positive front of that, and understand that you can win voters over, but there is a great frustration over property tax increases and that massive check they pay for the school district. And just carry on. You know, if you feel good about what you're doing, there's no shame in that.
To the keeper of the stars and the czar.